Sham, if you want to start to share the timer. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Success Show. Wow, today we're so lucky. We had over 150 people who registered, and we got people from 26 countries. So we had people from USA, Canada, Hong Kong, Europe, the South, New Zealand, Australia. So this is great. So thank you so much for joining today. Just really quick, I'm Caroline Doyle. I'm a French Canadian from Montreal. I was a lawyer, did my MBA, managing corporation. Then I joined New York Life. I had to move to Alabama in 2015, joined New York Life, and I became a financial advisor for less than a year. Then I became a partner for a Fortune 100 company. And 2019 got the award of Partner of the Year, and I built a team. And 2020, because during COVID, we had to move back to Montreal, and that's where I started this new journey, helping people to make sure they can reach the success that they want. So today we're here at the Success Show. We'll talk with Jocelyn Doyle. Of course, you understand that we have the same name. But she's here not because she's my aunt, but today, to be honest, it's really an honor to be with Jocelyn Doyle. Even if we have the same name, even if she's my godmother, today she's here because she's one of the most successful businesswomen that I know. She will share with you that everything is possible when you want something. And hopefully, you will get inspired by her story. Jocelyn started her company from the basement to be the #1 company in North America a couple years ago. And today, our business revenue would that be equivalent to 25 million in today's money. So what is interesting about her story? It's how she was able to adapt from one of the worst business situation that you can think about it, that almost cost her the business, to after that she will share this story, how she adapted to propel her to be the #1 company in North America in the translation services. She also earned the prestigious award of Businesswoman of the Year. So we'll talk about Jocelyn, and the goal is that you get inspired, that you take some tip and say, maybe you can apply this. She's a great leader. And after that, we'll open up for questions. So if you have some question, even in the Facebook, we have a lot of people live on the Facebook too. If you have questions, Jocelyn will answer this. So let's jump. Jocelyn, welcome. It's a
Thank you
great
for
pleasure.
having me. Thank you very much, and welcome to everybody. Yes. I
So,
hope I'll be an inspiration. Mm,
you are.
mm.
um, so, Jocelyn, let's start with tell me a little bit more about how you went from basement to the #1 company in North America a couple years ago.
When I quit the Translation Bureau of the Canadian government, I decided to be an independent translator, working by myself, like many were doing at the time. Don't forget that we're talking about the 80s. So it was quite not the same. No computers, no internet. So it was quite different. But I went in, and in fact, Andréane, my daughter, is the excuse, or she's the one, because the reason I started the company. Bad planning, I got pregnant at the same time I started the company. So 9 months later, when time to deliver came in, my main client was having an annual meeting. I was overworked with documents. So it was quite evident that I had to do something. So I phoned in all the good translators I knew that could help me out. And I can tell you, it's a good line when you tell them, well, labor started and I need help. Nobody told me no. They all agreed to it. And some months later on, they told me, we enjoyed doing it at night or over the week, and even if we've got a job. So I started using them, but then I knew I needed to start a company, to really structure the company, not working as an independent. So I incorporated the company. I chose the name. Okay. And then I started to really decide what was my vision, how I wanted to structure. And in fact, I copied it from the real estate world because they were working at that time in translation. The way to deal with translators was to have them as employees. Don't forget that in Canada, the Official Language Act, it was enacted in 1970. So in the 80s, a lot of things had to be translated. So the majority of companies, unions, businesses, governments were hiring translators. So, but I didn't want that because I thought it was inefficient to have two two levels of professional, like translators and a revisers, that what checking was the translators was doing. So I copied the real estate world structure. I hired them as subcontractors with a signed contract, okay, where they were supplying me with a volume that could change from one year to the other. They were the one deciding what the volume was. And I decided that that would be a high-end organization. So unfortunately, I wasn't helping the new graduates. I needed translators that were specialized, that were mid-career or end of their career, but that had a reputation as very good translators. So that's how I started. And I bought various companies afterwards. I started with them. And what we were doing is a bit of a kind of broker. We used to be a kind of broker where we were supplying them with services. They were paying for renting their offices in our offices. They were paying for whatever they were using, but we were offering them an insurance system. We were offering them the support staff. They were paid a month after their invoice, that without that we were paid or not. Okay. So it was a kind of security for them. And for us, the company, it allowed us to work with major people, and their rate was based on a pro rata compared to our rate. So if we had a complex work, or we had a night, something to be done overnight or during the weekend, our rates were higher, their rate was higher. So it was much easier to have them collaborate to very difficult times. The disadvantage of that system, it's a lot of advantages, but the disadvantage, you have to be an open book. They have the right to see what your rates are, not for all clients, but at least the clients that they're dealing with. So we were specializing them. The client had always the same translators, and the translators were working in this specialty. Don't forget that in Canada, there's so much work from English to French that 90% of the translators work from English to French, and we never switched to other languages. Okay, we don't have time for that. So that part is much more easier than a multilingual company. So then we acquired, after a while, we acquired 3 companies over time. We created 2 companies, one in Toronto, one in Quebec, for different reasons, different markets, different fields. And Quebec, there weren't any clients, but there were a lot of independent translators. So in fact, the 3 other groups were sending work to Quebec, and they were helping us out. So that's about how we structured it. And in 1997,
So, Jocelyn,
we,
can I stop you 1 second before
oh,
you
you,
go on this? The worst thing that happened in your business and how you were able to shift. So,
yeah,
um,
the worst thing.
before we go this, so do you think that your success, the fact that you had this vision before other, that you implemented a new business model, because we're talking about you started 40 years ago. When you
Yes,
started
yes.
40 years ago, before internet, before
Don't
everything, you
insist
had
on
a
that.
vision that nobody had this in the market. Do you think that people were following you because you had this new innovation, new vision?
People were following me because I offered them something different. In all other companies, they had choices, either being an independent translator, but if they wanted to work with a kind of security, they had to be employees. Okay. So what I was offering them is the professional aspects. I was offering them accountability. Okay. They were able to manage their work from the first word to the last. Okay. They were the one dealing with the clients. They were the one, managing their own workload. So I think that's what they really liked. Okay, is that being able to be to work as a professional, not having somebody overseeing their work or checking on them all the time. And so that was, and they also enjoyed, the reason is the reputation of the company. Since we had very specialized and high-end translators, our reputation grew very fast. And clients knew that if they were coming to us, they had the chance to first whatever their needs, because there weren't many companies at the time, and we were offering a very, very various services.
So it
Okay,
was all
so
about the employee. It was a partnership with your employees, with your subcontractor,
yes,
to make them
yes,
part of a whole team. That's
yes,
great.
because if you're a professional services, the only thing you're selling, in fact, is resumes. You're selling, in fact, your people. Okay, they're the one who are going to sell the company, not because people like me or not like me. It's because the quality of the translators I had was so much superior, that they wanted to come in. And what people like is not is really the fact that they were dealing with their own translator. It's like they had their own little translators. And sometimes that translators was even going to work at the client's place. Okay. Or do conventions or do meetings and things like that. So I think that's what the client wants, that personalized service. And what the translator liked was the independence, the accountability to be able to work as a professional. I think that's what makes the difference.
So you were
Uh,
able to adapt with the clients, with the subcontractor, and coming back with something new, innovation. That's good.
well, you have to. If you're starting a company, you have to offer something different. If you offer the same thing as everybody else, I mean, there's no use. Okay. You're going to put a lot of work in it. Okay. And there's not much to it. You have to have a dream. You have to have a vision. You have to have values. Okay. What are the values at the basis of your dream? And because people who start in business say, oh, I want to make money. Okay. Well, no, that's not a goal. It's evident everybody wants to make money, but money will follow if you've got a good vision, if it's really, and what you produce and you offer correspond to what you say. That's the thing. You'll never see in our publicity that we talked about quality. We never did, because quality, it depends of the client. Okay. Some clients, they wanted us to do a very basic French, okay, basic language, because they were dealing with people who had no education. Other clients were really asking for a very high quality. So talking about quality is difficult, okay, because it depends on the client, how the client sees it, not how you see it. And that's, I think, one of the problem. A lot of people, when they do the marketing, oh, we offer high quality services. Well, everybody in their mind do the same thing. So we decided not to use that, to use more the personalized service, the quality, not the quality, but the
The value.
professional of the translation, of the translators, the values that we had, the accountability, the reliance, and all of those. We mostly insist on that. So
That's good. So, Jocelyn, let's talk about, because you had a great vision, but something huge happened in the first 3 years of
yes.
your business that almost cost you. So, if you can summarize maybe in 2 or 3 minutes so people can understand, but you can, what is interesting is how you shift from a big obstacle, because we have people here around the world, 26 countries today. We have people in sales, we have half of them are business owner, some are
Wow.
financial advisors, some are real estate. So all of people that are listening to us today, they will have some different obstacles. Sometimes it will be a big one, sometimes it will be a small one. But whatever is the obstacle, the important is, how do you shift? How do you make sure that you get through this and you learn from this and turn this to positive?
Well, what happened in, we started, as I said, the company as such in 1981. In 1983, the Translation Bureau of the Government of Canada decided that their translators uh, didn't have the right to work at night or over the weekend for private firms. So they built up a big criminal thing. It went on for a year and a half or 2 years, which was very difficult personally, because when you see people you know very well shift sidewalks because they don't want to talk to you in case the RCMP would be
So just to
looking.
make sure, Justin, just make sure that people
What?
understand.
Yeah,
So most of the translator at that time, most of the translator got a lawsuit in criminal, even from private.
exactly.
So a lot of what it was 90% of the translator got a lawsuit. So people like the government was stopping the private firm to do business. So everybody
Exactly.
was operating with a law, a criminal record when like they were just trying
Yeah.
to do their job, not necessarily just for Jocelyn, but for everybody in
Oh,
the
no, no.
industry.
They raided the 13 largest companies in Canada, all over Canada. Okay. Unfortunately, we were among them. And at that time, we weren't large companies. I mean, the companies in Canada weren't that large. And they raided them and they started accusing and criminal the translators, not the companies. The companies were saying, please put some accusations, we'll be able to defend ourselves, but they didn't do it. Okay, the translators. And but it was a 2 years very difficult. And what was most difficult is that the Canadian government, the deputy minister phoned me one night and told me, he said, Jocelyn, just to let you know, starting tomorrow, we will not give you any more work because of the inquiry. That was 85% of our demand. Okay. I can tell you it's a big shock. So the next morning, we got the translators together and we said, listen, we can free you from your contracts. You're good translators. You can be hired anywhere. Okay. So, or if you allow me, I'm going to really put a rate below the regular rates. We're going to go as low as we can. Okay. Even if the company loses, we're going to go as low as we can. And I'm going to market and try to find new clients. And I knew I had a good team because they all said, yes, go as low as you want. Okay. So that's what we did. And the big thing with that is that up till that time, we were waiting for the phone to ring. There was so much work. Okay. Then I had to start marketing. I had to go and meet the people, find new fields, find new clients, find people who would have the volume sufficient to get the company going. And it's funny because somebody came in my office one day. As I told you, people are not very nice when you're stuck in something like that. One people come in and said, oh, he said, it's going to be tough for your company. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I think it's the best thing that happened to us because we have to go out, not wait for the work to come in. We have to go out and find it. 1 year later, the deputy minister phoned me back to tell me that he would start again using us, and he repeated the same sentence. So, hey, I knew it had been around. So,
So
so that
that's good.
helped
So
us.
you shift your
Finally,
business model. You
you
shift
shift the
completely your
whole
business
thing.
and
You
you
shift the
take
whole thing.
action and say, let's go. Don't wait. And
Exactly.
let's,
Yeah.
let's pull
I.
the work and find something because we have to save
Yeah.
those employees. Even if they
Yeah.
have a lawsuit, we have to save this, save their
Yes.
business. That's awesome.
And
That's
in fact,
amazing.
the at that time we were, I think, the fourth company in size. The three others went bankrupt. They closed their doors, and we decided, no, we're too stubborn. I think we decided to, no, we have to keep on going. Okay. And finally, after 2 years, the whole thing was finished because it was they didn't find the translators. The judges didn't find the translators guilty, so it
That,
ended up there. But it was, in fact, we we took the opportunity. We could have seen it as a disaster. It was a disaster, but we saw also an opportunity, and we used it.
that's
So,
good.
so it went, and that's when from there the company just went sky high.
And that's how you
So
got to number one. So let's
yeah.
talk about the leadership. So a lot of people over there are trying to build a business. It could be in sales, it could be their own business. So what do you suggest? What do you think that people who wants to build a business or they're in sales, they should have as a quality or they should implement inside of them to make sure they succeed?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, you have to see, you have to have a vision. You have to be able to, whoops, sorry. You have to be able to decide what kind of company you want. Okay, that's the quality. You have to have determination. You have to be opportunistic. Okay. Also, you have, I would say, to be able to be innovative. Don't be afraid to explore the unexplored territory. Okay. Know your environment, know what's around you. As I said, I copied the real estate world. Other fields, other groups have very good ideas that can be applied in whatever field you're in. Okay, you don't have to recreate everything. You can look at what they're doing and say, also keep in touch with your competitors. It's funny to say, but I was having dinner with my competitors every 3 months. And people were saying, wow, you're giving them information. Yes, I am giving them information, but they're giving me information. And that's allowed me to know exactly, okay, I think the market is going this way. Okay, that's where. Because it all depends what you do with the information. If you get the information, you don't do anything with it, well, that's it. You've lost the chance. But if you take the information and you assess the market and you read and you look at what's coming, then you can create something different. And you can be the first to offer something that's quite different than what the others are doing. Mhm. So I would say those are determination, yes. Uh, in my case, my great success was due, in fact, because I heard my husband. And it's funny to say that, but my husband was also a professional translator. I've given a lot of conferences and I've said to people, don't hire your spouse unless that is the best person to do the job. The fact that he or she is your spouse is a personal element. It's not a professional element. Okay. And that should never come into your decision. Okay. But you do absolutely hire that spouse if that person can bring you something great. I was good in strategy. I was good in PR. I was good in, management. I wasn't good in operations. I was awful in operations. He was fantastic. And that's the reason we were so successful. So you have to make sure you choose the right people. Okay. Always the best and the right. Not that they're because they're sister, a brother, a spouse. That's not the place. You're not a nonprofit organization. So
That's good. It's good to know. Um, if you have one advice to people that are out there and maybe they're struggling or they're not sure about, they have a doubt about their goal or a doubt about themselves, what you will suggest to them?
everybody has those doubts. Whoever you are, at each level, you have doubts. Not only that, you have great things and you have bad things. You have great moments and you have bad moments. The question is always to be honest with yourself. Okay. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to sometimes let control go. Okay. Allow other people to bring in their knowledge, their capacities. Uh, Whatever level you're at, there's going to be a top at one point. You have to be able to say, okay, I cannot anymore help the company to grow. I have to go and get. So don't be afraid. Okay. You can always keep the control of the company, but don't be afraid to go and find a manager, to go and find somebody in finance, to go and find, and don't be cheap, please, for the accountant and the lawyer. Those are the two groups that are going to make or break your company. And you have to get the best, okay? The best for you and the best professionals that correspond to what you want. For example, if you've got an accountant too progressive and you're more subdued, you're more conservative, it may not be a good fit. Okay.
So
So you
always looking
have
for
to
the good fit.
choose the people around you. A lot of people are going to help you out. Okay. And there are a lot of programs. Don't don't be afraid of looking around for various
Loan or grant.
loans or the programs of the government. A lot of governments offer a program to build a business or to go and see whoever is in charge, whatever organizations are in charge, go and see them just to talk, just to sit there. This is where I'm at. Okay. Who could help me get to the other level? You're not alone. And there are a lot of business organizations, business associations that you can join. And you're going to learn a lot from those businesses, other fields, but you're going to learn and you're going to build a support system. Okay. And that's very key.
Surround yourself with the right person, building this support system, have
Yep.
this vision, and go. Action.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Go.
that's fantastic. So, Jocelyn, do you have one more advice before we open up for question or
Hey,
one?
listen, having a company it has to be fun. You have to love it. If you're not happy, if you don't love it, if it doesn't fit with your personal life or other professional aspects, get out of it. It's too frustrating otherwise. But if you love it, keep on going. Keep on going, and look around. Something is going to present itself.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so
Mm.
much. Let's
Well, you're
open up
welcome.
for question. Who has some question? And we may have some question on Facebook too. I know a couple people there. So you have a person who brought a company from basement to #1 in North America. Do you have question? She was the president of a big company. You have question to help you, whatever is your challenge or your doubt or nobody has a question?
Oh, it was clear.
Stephen, you have a question generally.
I want to say thank you to Jocelyn. What she says makes a lot of sense. And I'm in direct sales, and some of the things that you said did make sense to me, and I think will be able to help me. And you have to have the dream. I believe what you said, you have to have a dream. I had my own business for 30 years in personnel, and it was a dream and I was successful at it. So now I'm trying something different. And we have to get out and meet new people. I think that's the whole secret.
Yep.
And I think that was your message to me today.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for coming on.
Well,
and
thank you for being there.
Carolyn, for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Anybody else? Steven, General, you have a question.
Hi, it's Sophia. I have a question.
Go beautiful, Sophia.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Can you turn on your camera?
Or together? Oh, not camera ready today, but I am personality ready.
Okay, yes, go ahead, beautiful.
So I do not own my own business. However, I do have a team of almost 10 people under me, and I work for a very large company, and I support a very large part of that company.
You can tell, can you share what you're doing, Sophia?
Absolutely, yes. So I work for IBM, a very big corporate citizen, hundreds of thousands of employees worldwide. And I support the consulting business of IBM here in Canada. And I support the team of recruiters that support that business. And we have such a huge impact on that business because we are bringing the best and the brightest into the organization. And I run my team. First of all, we are a team. So I don't like saying I run them because I don't. But I run the team as though we are a mini business within that huge, huge ship to navigate. And my question to you, Caro, and to your guest speaker would be, how do you bring your team along to have the vision you have? So I run this like it's a business. I run my desk like it's a business. They pay me well to do what I do. I may not be earning the type of money that maybe some entrepreneurs earn on this call, but to me, it's not about the money. It's about running a successful business, and the money will follow. And it always has. I've been a top performer in IBM for over 15 years because I've never thought about the money. I think about driving the business, and the other part comes as a benefit. So my question to you would be, how do you continually fuel the fire and have people believe in the same vision? I'm optimistic. I am positive. Sometimes the vision is not as clear as I need it to be. So if you have an exercise, or if you have a go-to activity or exercise that you had always had in your mind about making the vision clear, because the business, as the business grows, as the market grows, the vision can change. So how do you keep the vision clear and get your team behind it?
Well, Carolyn is going to be able to talk to you about the kind of training or whatever technical aspects. For me, I would tell you, and I'm sure you know because you're already a leader in IBM, it's communication. There's no other way. No other way. It's communication and getting people involved. Right. Getting them as involved as much as possible. Even sometimes we have somebody who's not that great, give them responsibility, give them a project, and you'll see, you may be surprised by the reaction of that person. And you're right, vision changes and they have to change, but the main vision never do. Okay. Right. It never does. It can, some aspects could change. And you're also right that entrepreneurship is not necessarily being in business. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurship can be done at every level.
That's, you know what, that's very, very poignant. I always try to have my team feel that they're invested, and what you said is spot on. When you give them other opportunities, whether it's a project to be part of, another task that may not be there every day, and they feel invested in the business or invested in the group, in the team. I have found that to help a lot. Absolutely.
Good. And Sophie, if I can add on this, I like what you're saying, and also always check with them, what do they want? Because sometimes their want may change. They may have some new needs for the family. They may have, they're ready to take some risk, or maybe they have to reduce the risk. So always check, what do you want? It's a simple question that it may help to align what they want, your vision and the company vision, and say, okay, let's work together on this. And when you will talk to them, you will adapt with what do they want, instead of just, let's say, some people, depending their personality, some people, they like to talk about the company because they feel that it's bigger than them. Some people, they want something just for them. What is it for me? So adapting also the communication to the personality of your staff.
Very important.
Sophia, if I can add something, I think you put it very clearly when you said you were a leader. I think the concept of manager is changing, and we're going more and more towards leader.
Yes.
Leader of groups, not necessarily managing them, but leading them somewhere. So I think you're on the right track.
Good point. Management has changed a lot in the last few years, let alone the last decade. And the command and control, authoritarian type approach, well, that just doesn't work today. People will leave. They will flock to other companies. Absolutely. If they even smell it, they'll leave.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're going to agree it's not easy.
No. Trevor and I talk about this regularly. First line manager is not the easiest job in an organization. And for people who are running their own businesses, even if you have only one employee or two employees and not a team of 25, handling those two people can be just as hard as handling 25 if they have opposing views, different personalities, different family situations. We are called upon more and more today to understand what our employees are living through, especially given the market and the realities we're living in the last 2 years.
Yes, so, because I think with the people today, there is less division between their personal life and their professional life.
Right.
And person that you're dealing with are whole. And you have to take that into consideration, which in the 80s we weren't taking into consideration. I
Right.
mean, there was a professional life and there was a personal life, and usually they weren't mixing. Now they do mix.
Mhm.
So I think the way that we see employees are quite different.
So I will
You're
ask
right.
you, I will ask you then, since you were an entrepreneur starting your business, I think Carol said in the 80s, right?
Yes.
Where business and pleasure were two very different things.
Absolutely, yes.
Now we have an environment with our employees where we want them to enjoy being at work. We want them to have fun. We want to talk about their private life if they want to share. It's a different approach. So if you had to do it again, Madame, what would
Yes.
you change?
It's funny, it was one of my questions, Sophia forgot. Thank you so much. It was the last question.
Honestly, I don't think I would change much, because we were very in advance in our time, because the way we were treating the staff was they were the one dealing, they had only two goals, two objectives. They had to supply the quality required by the client, and they had to meet the deadline. So I think that's the way today. You have to work more by objectives. You have to set to them objectives and let them come in how they're going to manage those objectives. How they're going to reach those objectives, but leave the means to them. Am I clear? I'm not sure I'm clear.
You are clear, but the follow-on question would be for people on this call who are running a business, again, whether you have 2 employees or 25, you yourself, when you're running a small business, you are the doer, the accountant, the promoter.
Yes.
You are signing deals, contracts. It's all on your back.
Yes.
You have an employee that may be a great employee, but is not working as fast as you need him or her to work. So you say, okay, I'm following your rhythm. Maybe you have stuff going on, but at the end of the day, I need you to produce. We need to close this contract, or we need to deliver XYZ by next Friday. What have you found successful in the past? Unfortunately, what has worked for me in the past is not the right way to do things. I would say, give it to me. I'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Yes.
I wouldn't have you do what I wouldn't do myself. Give it to me. Give it to me. And then we're doing 24-hour days and on burnout.
Yeah. You know, accountability, I mentioned at the beginning, accountability. For me, it's quite important. If people want to be free to manage their own life, professional and personal, they have to recognize that there is an accountability to it. Okay, they have to produce. They can do whatever they want, however they want it, but the objective of the company has to be met. Right. So I think it's trying for some people to give them the balance. I've seen a lot of people who say, oh yeah, I want to do it, you know, at my place in teleworking. Yep. I don't want to go back to the office. That's fine. But the objective is still there. In my business, it would be the deadline. You have to meet the deadline. You have to supply the quality. Wherever you do it, you can do it wherever you want, at the other end of the world. But you have to meet. So I think we have to learn to work by objectives, you know, not to manage the day-to-day small little things, but to set objectives to the employee, be very clear, and say to the employee, this is your responsibility. Right. And an employee who cannot do it, I would say, unfortunately, that person may not be that good.
That's a harder conversation, because you want to believe the best in everybody, and you want to give them a chance, and you want them to succeed. If they succeed, your business succeeds. But those are difficult conversations to have, because everybody does have a different level of investment, commitment, productivity, expertise, and you have to be able to see that trajectory in somebody. then that comes down to interviewing the right people and asking the right questions. But Carol, that's another talk.
We can come back on another success show for this. Hey, Sophie, thank you for your question. I had a other question. Thank you so much, Sophie.
You're welcome.
Marie-France, you had a hand, and I have question on Facebook also. Marie-France, you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Jocelyn, for your to sharing your expertise. And now I think I know where Caroline take his drive and his power to.
We have the same family name.
Yes, yes.
Same blood.
So it was to say you thank you for your for sharing your
Well, thank you very much.
expertise.
Thank you very much.
What's the matter, man?
That's good. I have a question on Facebook, and I love this question.
Spaghetti in the refrigerator.
Somebody's
Spaghetti what?
Noodles.
somebody's eating noodles tonight. So somebody's asking, Kathleen is asking, how's Jocelyn using social media in her business? At the time, you didn't have social media.
We didn't have internet. I'm talking in era of dinosaurs, but these days you have to have social media. You have to have, all your marketing has to be on social media. It's completely different. Communications with your staff has to be on social media. Your knowledge of the environment has to be on social media. So you have to be very, very well connected. You have to be present. You have to be, so it takes a lot of time, okay? But you have to make sure that you are there, okay? You also have to talk to your staff regularly about what they say on social media, the image of the company, that their presentation. There used to be a very, very old movie, training movie, was called Who Killed the Client? And the people in sales did everything right, everything right. That was perfect. The president of the company met the other president. Everybody agreed that the supplier should get the word. He didn't get the word. And then he said, who killed the client? Well, a simple, small little thing. A truck driver, okay, cut the car of the client and give him, you know what, okay? And the client said, no way. If all the employees are like that, I'll forget it. So you have to talk to your employee to make sure that they understand that the image that they project on media, on social media, is the right one, okay? It can be according to how they want to do it, but they have to recognize that there's an impact on social media.
Yeah, even what you're doing during the weekend. It's all
Yes.
you're building your brand, all of you.
Yes,
So
yes. Well, they're
careful.
building their brand,
Yeah,
their brand and
their
your
brand
brand.
individually.
But they have to recognize that they're building their brand,
Yep.
okay?
Yep. Any other questions? Stephen, find a question. Generally, you have a question, and I always love your question.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
So again, I'm a financial advisor, so I'm ultimately selling myself and what the services I provide. So what is your feeling about whether we're, quote, solving a problem, that somebody has to have a problem that we're fixing versus the benefits that they get from working with us? Did that make sense?
No, I don't quite get your
Meaning,
question.
does somebody have to have a problem that we fix, or are they looking for the benefits that we can offer by the solutions we bring to them?
When you present your services?
Right. I mean, so the best way to show ourselves is because of the benefits of working with us, they save money, they save on taxes or something, or do they have to have a problem that they see that we then solve? So which comes first? Meaning the client seeing they have a problem, or us showing that we can do all these wonderful things?
I don't know
Jocelyn,
if any
sorry,
comes.
just remove your finger from the camera.
Oh, excuse. I don't know if any comes first, Stephen. I think the bringing a solution. I think they have to know that you're there. Otherwise, they won't get at you to find a solution. So you have to have, usually, mostly in professional services like yours, it doesn't click at the first meeting. It's not a go at the first meeting, but you have to make sure that they're regularly there, that you're there, that you keep them informed. We had some little tricks to keep that thing going. First, we had, the Smarties. So we're talking about words. At that time, we were giving at Christmas to clients a bowl of Smarties. Okay, we were calling that wordies. But regularly, every 3 months, we had to go back and fill in those Smarties. So that's a way of going back. You've got an excuse. I mean, that's a stupid example, but you've got an excuse, okay, to go back to see them. You can send them pamphlet. You can interview them for your internal sheet, whatever you do, paperwork, work, paper. I mean, sorry, I haven't spoken English for a long time, so I'm missing my words. But
they're used with
for
my
them,
French
but
accent.
I think they have to know you first to make sure
you
that they
first.
know that you'll be able to solve their problems. But I mean, one doesn't preclude the other one. If a client gets you in and to solve a problem, that's fine. But it all depends how you want to present yourself. Do you want to present yourself as the one who's going to help them solve their problem, or you want to solve their problem? So
Okay.
it's different aspects. Okay, even if you sell a solution, the solution is to help them solve their problems. So it cannot be only the solution. It has to be you around it.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm
good.
not telling you anything you didn't know, but so there's no good answers to that. It's either one, or it can be both.
Does it answer to your question, Stephen?
Yes. Thank you.
Larry, Mr. Larry, do you have a question? I think I saw something on Facebook, or I saw a question. I can just see the couple first words. Larry, are you there? Larry Shuffman. Oh. No? Okay. We missed Larry, but Larry had a question I cannot read. I just see 2 words. Anybody else has a question? No? So I just want to say before we end this session that no matter what, I think the message from today, just take one thing that you can implement in your day-to-day. Know that it was possible. Everything is possible. Whatever you want in life, have this vision, have this strategy. Surrounded, I like what Jocelyn said, surrounded yourself with the right people. Make sure they challenge you also on the right way. And go after your goals. So I like she said, talk to your competitor. Go outside, talk. That's go back to also what Stephen was asking as a question. People has to know you. So how do you build your brand? Go outside and stick to your value. Never go outside of your value, and keep going. Persistent. She had huge obstacles and she was able to handle this and turn this. So everything is possible. Having the right mindset, the right strategies will help you. And if I can help you, we put it in the chat. If you need a business assessment, I have a business assessment that is like an airplane. So I would like to offer to those people that they assist and they joined on Facebook. If you want to have a free debriefing to see what kind of action plan for your marketing, your sales, your leadership, your cash flow, what kind of action plan you need to put in place, that will come with the business assessment. So if you want to take this, Charm, my assistant, put it in the chat. You can take the free business assessment and I will give you a free debriefing to help you with your action plan. So this is my gift from today. And if you just need to review your goal in a goal session, I offer a free 30 minutes to everyone who would like to join from this call. So book an appointment. It will be my pleasure to help you out. And thank you, everyone. If you have any other question, thank you everyone to be here tonight. I know everybody has busy schedule, but I really, really appreciate. I hope it will. This will help you. And of course, Jocelyn, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so
You're
much for all
welcome.
your advice. It's such a
Wow.
pleasure to be with you.
Merci
you. It was a
beaucoup. Thank you,
pleasure.
Caro. Thank you.
Merci,
Bye.
Caro.
Thank you,
Bye, everybody.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.